we're going to compare a 2019 Toyota RAV4 to the first gen of RAV4, a 1996 Toyota RAV4. The styling of the new RAV4 is much more aggressive, very angular, it looks mean from the front, while the 96 looks extremely cute and bubbly and happy. I do have a soft spot for these 90s cars. I really like how they're styled. But of course, in the 2000s, everybody decided to make everything much edgier and aggressive and mean looking, and that's what you have in the new RAV4. It's a great looking car, but really it lost a lot of its personality over its new design. Now it looks like just about every car out there. Now this 96 RAV4, look at it, it's so cute. Even the reflectors are round. The new RAV4 weighs a little bit more. The first gen of the RAV4 was introduced in 94 to 2003, and in the United States in 1996 it was the introduction of this particular car. Let's look at the backside of the RAV4. Very different styling. You have a more rugged style in the old RAV4 with carrying the spare tire in the rear door, which I kind of like. But of course now the door on the new RAV4 flips up and they couldn't do it. But I thought it was a great idea and it kind of looked a little bit more rugged. The old RAV4 also has a hitch. The new one does not have a hitch. And it also has dual exhaust tips. The old RAV4 does not have dual exhaust tips. It only has one. You don't need two. You do have some styling cues with each other, but they're so different looking now that it just doesn't look like the same RAV4. It looks like a Highlander. The fronts. The new front is like so large compared to the old one. Not sure why makers decided to make grills that were extremely large. One thing I really like about Tesla is that they don't put any grills on their cars. Of course they're electric, but I think it looks a little bit better. I don't know why there's like so much like design of large grills these days. On the new RAV4, there's two pieces to the brake lights and signals. The brake lights on the old RAV4 is one single piece. The new RAV4 also does not have the cool two-tone plastic lower bottom. I can't say I like the protruding brake lights of the new RAV4. Of the 96, it's pretty much flush. It's got the built-in rear view light, the brake, the signal, everything is built into it. It's interesting that the logos have stayed the same from year to year. People seem to forget that the RAV4 in 97 also had a really interesting thing. They produced a couple EV versions from 97 to 2003. So in a way, this old RAV4 was ahead of the curve. Now, this RAV4 is not going to win any great safety awards. The new one is much safer, and I think that's the reason a lot of people are converting to the new ones, is because they're much safer cars. As cool as we think that the 96 is, it's just not as safe. It's got two airbags. Features of the new one far outweigh the cons, but who would get a 96 over 2014? I can tell you, the 96 has some pretty cool styling, and I particularly would be interested in getting a 96. And the 96 has a fabulous motor, very simple, and if you're into simplicity, the old 90s cars are probably some of the best. The new RAV4 looks great. It's really long and it's gotten much wider and longer and heavier than the old RAV4. These pillars are actually much more massive than in the old RAV4. One of the things that you notice right away about the new RAV4 is that everything is like really high quality. This is also actually one of the safer vehicles that you can possibly get. There's like stitching here, there's places to put your phones, there's like cup holders everywhere, including for the passengers. It's got push button start technology. It's got lane keep assist, all of these sensors, a lot of electronics. But that could be one of the downsides about this vehicle, is that it's got so much electronics is that a lot of this stuff will break. And Toyota has been significantly going down in quality. When you consider the old rav4, the old rav4 has got very little technology. So the chances of something breaking is a lot lower on that. That one's got 100,000 miles. This has got probably 10,000 miles, less than 10,000 miles. This is a 2019, so this is the 5th generation of rav4. That's the first generation, the first year in the United States. Comfort, this thing is much wider. Sitting in the 96, the passenger and driver are a lot closer, because when you look at it from the rear and from the front, you notice that they brought in the top half of the car. So everything is a little bit more scrunched in. There's a lot more dials for adjusting your driving habits here. You can go from eco to normal to sport, snow, mud, rock. But most people are only going to be driving it probably in eco and normal. The dials are very pretty in the rav4. I think it's very well designed. You also have external power for your passengers. You also have AC and heating for the passengers. On the 96 you have nothing. This is the 96 rav4, the old rav4. It's got something that the new rav4 does not. That's a 5-speed transmission. That makes it a much better car in my opinion. It makes it much more fun. Also, I have a hard time understanding when you can get bargains like this with 100,000 miles. Why would anybody get a $30,000, rav4 like that? But oftentimes people don't want to mess around with things that could potentially break. But the secret is that these old Toyotas are extremely reliable. They have a 4-cylinder engine, 2.0 liter, 120 horsepower, not a lot of horsepower, but they ride like a car. They're very comfortable to drive. And I was surprised. This is my first time driving a rav4. And I never thought that a rav4 would be comfortable, but it is a very comfortable car. I also like that you sit much higher up, but it's not too high up. Like oftentimes, like sport utilities tend to be a little bit too high up, and I don't like that. Now, one of the downsides of this car is that it gets 20 to 22 miles to the gallon. That is just incredible to me it's such a big gas hog. This is a very simple car, and as you can see, this is probably the most interesting button here. Every single button like this is gotten from the 90s Toyotas. They're almost like interchangeable. The same AC, all of these buttons, everything comes from old Toyotas. My Paseo had a lot of these buttons too. But you have your volume, and then there's this other dial here which changes the fade or the but this is a Toyota radio, and so you can put it in the middle or you can put it on the right side of the car using that. It's very, very simple, and as you notice, it's a tape deck. And honestly, I would not change this because it's so darn cool nowadays to have a tape deck. Down here you have some security system that I don't know what it is. It might be the key, the keyless entry thing, but I'm not really sure. You have something very interesting to put coins, and then you have this little thing, I guess, I don't know, to put more coins. There is only one cup holder in this entire car, and it's right here. More coin holders. I'm assuming that's what that is. And then you have a little bit of a compartment underneath there, which is not very deep. So it's kind of useless for all the creature comforts that people require of cars these days. If you can see on this car, it only has 104,000 miles. That's a baby for this type of engine and car. This thing will just keep on trucking for years to come. It's just incredible. Your controls for the mirror, you have another little pocket here. This car was stored outside for most of its life, so it does have some wear. Seats to fold a little bit more. So you push the string down, and then there's a button on the side, and you just kind of pull it up like this, and this will go on here. The floor is actually very low because there is no storage underneath here for a tire. Your spare tire is in the door over there, and your tools are on the side. So you do have plenty of room here for storing large items, and I do like this sort of thing about the sport utilities. I really like the 96 Toyota rav4, and when you couple it with a 5-speed transmission, this car will probably outlast the new rav4. They really don't build cars like they used to. Oftentimes you have to ask yourself, why the added complexity in modern cars? Could you live without the creature comforts for a fraction of the cost of a new rav4? Because if you can live without the nice things that the new rav4 has to give, the old rav4 really will do everything that you want it to do. These cars are extremely good. First generation to the last generation, Toyota makes great cars. Every single car that I've driven from Toyota is excellent. And these RAV4s are extremely popular, and they always sell tons of these. Just riding around the DC metro area, I see one or two 1996 to 1997 Toyota RAV4s just commuting. If I had the choice of picking the old and the new RAV4, I would definitely pick the old RAV4 for a fraction of the cost. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.